One of the key characteristics of corporate social innovation is the idea of co-creation. The notion that to create innovative solutions to today's social challenges, companies shouldn't try to do it alone. An open, collaborative, partnering process works best. It makes intuitive sense to partner, but there are some important reasons why there's now even more of an emphasis on co-creation. So let's look at those reasons. First, complexity. The global, social, and environmental problems we face are difficult, complex problems. Those problems typically involve all of society's institutions, so effective solutions also needs to involve all of society's institutions, often at a global, national, and local level. No one institution can solve these complex problems alone. Number two, there's convergence. Business, NGOs, and governments are recognizing the same set of priorities, and when different organizations work on the same set of priorities, the efforts of those different organizations start to converge. The UN Sustainable Development Goals are a great example of this convergence. We'll take a closer look at the global goals in a moment. There's also systemic solutions. To have long-term sustainable impact on an issue requires a systems approach, and that means the multiple perspectives and sectors that are part of the system have to be part of developing the solution. And we should also acknowledge that the evolution toward corporate social innovation is also a factor. Corporate social innovation is fundamentally about opening things up, expanding boundaries, taking issues that used to be seen as outside the business and bringing them inside. Remember the key topics we've covered so far. We talked about purpose. Now it's open to more than economic value. We talked about strategy. Now open to external social problems as the basis for choosing how to compete as a business. And we talked about organization. Now open to new boundaries and structures. And we mentioned employees and how the terms of employment are now more open to go beyond someone's regular job to include things like how that person or that job can make a positive impact on a social issue. All of these factors are rooted in the drive to open up the business to new connections and not close it off. That same drive to be more open impacts the way business is thinking about and practicing the art of partnering. We mentioned the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Let's look at what those goals are and how they're playing a role in co-creation. The global goals are a set of 17 goals defined by the United Nations to serve as guidelines and targets to help channel and focus the efforts of governments, business, NGOs, and citizens toward preserving and protecting the planet and building a society of peace and prosperity for all. The goals are bold and they cover a wide range of issues, including zero poverty, hunger, gender equality, health and well-being, access to water and sanitation, climate change, sustainable energy, sustainable management of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainable cities, oceans governance, and peaceful and inclusive societies. For each goal, there are targets to measure success, a total of 169 targets, and the time frame for the goals is through 2030. For business, the global goals help align focus on issues, and they invite cooperation in efforts to address those issues. In fact, in a very short time, companies are increasingly coordinating their corporate responsibility efforts with the goals. A recent survey by KPMG shows that already close to half of the world's 250 largest companies and just under 40% of the 100 largest companies in 49 countries are already coordinating their goals with the SDG goals. As of the 2017 study, these are the countries with the highest rates of coordination amongst their top 100 companies. One company example of that coordination is Unilever and their Lifebuoy brand soap. You may remember Unilever from week one. They were cited as one of the sustainability leaders. Their overall approach to sustainability is called the Sustainable Living Plan, and one of their sustainable living brands is Lifebuoy. And it provides a good example of co-creation and alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Global goal number 6 calls for clean water and sanitation. Today, 1.4 million children under 5 die from diarrhea and pneumonia, and poor sanitation is a contributor to many of those deaths. Evidence shows that improving hand washing habits can have a significant reduction in the number of those deaths. So Lifebuoy has been engaged in a program to focus on the simple act of hand washing, to help people understand why it's important, learn how to do it properly, and make it part of their daily habits. In addition to children, mothers and caregivers are critical audiences for the program. Changing their habits can significantly reduce the number of newborn deaths. To reach them, Lifebuoy partnered with government agencies and public health authorities to teach good hand-washing habits at neonatal clinics and home health visits. Lifebuoy sold in 60 countries, and they've developed a range of impressive partnerships. For example, in Indonesia, they partnered with the government's Department of Family Welfare to reach more than 20 million people in just 1 year. While Lifebuoy's hand-washing initiative was in place before the UN Sustainable Development Goals, aligning with those goals has helped expand the program's reach and impact. Global Goal 6 increases the likelihood and opportunity for diverse organizations to align around the issue, and the resulting collaborations of health organizations, governments, and Unilever's Lifebuoy business allows each group's expertise to have even more impact on that issue. In fact, Lifebuoy's Global Social Mission Director says it pretty well, as you can see from her quote on the screen right now. Let's look at another approach companies are taking to co-creation: open innovation programs. The idea behind these programs is to connect a company's internal innovation resources, the employees, programs, and systems inside the company that are focused on a particular challenge, and connect them with external innovation resources, the people, organizations outside the company who are working on that same challenge. This combination of people, ideas, systems in here and out there can increase the pace and success of innovation for a company. It's a form of co-creation. One of the first to put the open innovation idea into practice was P&G with their Connect and Develop program. In another P&G program, they partnered with the academic sector, the University of Cincinnati, to establish the Live Well Collaborative, focused on better meeting the needs of an older customer segment, the 50-plus consumer. Startup accelerators and incubators are also becoming more common as companies seek to connect with entrepreneurs and businesses focused on similar challenges. As an example, Barclays partners with Techstars, a leading organization in working with startup organizations, and they run the Barclays Accelerator focused on the financial technology needs. SAP is another example. They operate an accelerator for startups while working on the Internet of Things. So as you can see, corporate social innovation relies heavily on co-creation. Companies are connecting to a broader range of people and institutions, and they're working together to develop long-term, systemic solutions that create economic value and social value.